Alright everyone, if you are, hopefully you can hear me and the stream is back and whatnot. I apologize again. Basically my computer crashed. It crashed very hard. It was not, not very, there's no coming back from it. So I had to shut down and restart and reload everything. So we are desperately trying to get back up to speed here. I apologize for that. At some point, I guess I'm going to have to get a new computer to do this because the one I'm currently using it's asking a lot to get it to do what it's doing. But unfortunately, we missed the entire game 2, a game which Brett Rose won. So he moves on to 4-0 and is drawing into the top 8. So I apologize for that. But while I get everything squared away here, I'm going to go out and see if I can find another feature match and then try to get things back into some kind of working order. So again, I apologize for the inconvenience, and hopefully we can get things squared away. You back? Or you get some trades on?
Yeah, I'll be right.
No, it's fine. It doesn't matter. We are back. I'm by myself. Brandon is rocking some sweet trades. So it's just me. I'm desperately trying to... So here's the deal. It's not like... It's not like this is something like professional level production, but there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes. I always try to get here like an hour or two early to set everything up, get all my technical settings correct and things like that. And it's, we've got another monitor here which you can't see off screen, which I try to monitor the chat and do things like the card viewer and stuff like that. And so it's awesome when it's working right, but when the computer crashes like it just did and I have to, on the fly, try to go back to all of that stuff, it is very tedious and very difficult to do while I try to do anything else, especially while I try to talk. I did go out, like I said, I apologize that we missed the second end, the last part of the game we just saw, or the match we just saw. Let me see if I can get Brett to come and talk about his deck maybe a little bit. Alright, so I was trying to get Brett Rose to come in and talk about his deck some. He did not seem thrilled about the idea. He's also rocking some sweet trays out there, so if he comes in, he comes in. So something that's come up tonight multiple times that's becoming somewhat of an issue is that I'm getting no sold on stream appearances by 1, 2, 3. So far, 3 people, 3 of our regulars, have decided that they don't want to play on camera. So I don't know what I'm supposed to do. It's very difficult to have a stream when the top table players are not interested in playing on camera. But that is also not entirely it's not entirely something that's to be unexpected. I mean, it is difficult, and shouldn't always assume that someone wants to play under the microcosm that is the feature match camera. It is a little bit of a daunting task as you open yourselves up to review all of the time. But it is what it is, so we'll try to get you some more matches here shortly. There's about 20 minutes left in the round, but like I said, there's one match that was going to Game 2. They did not want to play on camera. And then everyone else is done. So either this round is going to end relatively quickly, or you're going to have to stare at my face for a good while. Brandon, like I said, is out there rocking some trades, so it's just me for the time being. I am slowly but surely, while I talk to you about this nonsense, and I'm sure driving multiple people away, trying to get everything squared away so that when the next round starts, we will have things in order. But Brett Rose moves to 4-0 with his Esper Tokens deck. Brandon Hodge dropped that one, so he's 3-1. The other undefeateds, Brandon Hart and Brandon Gibbs, are still battling Esper Walkers versus Blue-White Flash. Brandon Hart is undefeated in that one. He got paired down. And then Alec Myers and Nick Reid, I don't know if they played or they drew. I think those guys are buddies. I think they might be trying to double draw into the top 8, which you might be able to do based on the number of people that are here. But as I tell them every time it comes up, I want nothing to do with that, because you can draw yourselves right out of contention. And I don't want to be held responsible for that. So it's just me sitting in this broom closet with this beautiful sign. I've got Scarlett Johansson back there now. We're living the dream. All right, Brandon's back. Did you get what you needed?
We did a little, about a $5 trade.
I never get to trade anymore, because I'm always in this place. Here's the aforementioned Christmas ornament we showed earlier.
Nice.
I would love to give this away to someone, but the problem is I have no way of giving it to you. So if someone's going to be at Star City in Columbus, I'll give it to you. If you come find me. It'll be off theme because the season will be over. So Brandon, so here's what's happened. I've been lamenting to the stream.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll explain to you now as well. So we watched Game 1. You come up just a little bit short. Then you went to sideboards. Game 2 started, and my computer had the most monumental crash.
Oh.
It's like the third or fourth time it's happened. I need to get another computer, but this one is free to me to use because of work, and I'm just not really looking to buy a laptop for this endeavor. So if anyone wants to donate one or something, if there's some millionaire that's watching our stream at 10 o'clock at night on a Friday, feel free to donate that. But so anyway, by the time I got everything set up and the stream back on, I turned the camera on and you guys were de-sideboarding, so I assumed at that point Brett had won. But how did Game 2 go?
He did win. Double Reaver. Or the blue-white.
The Drogskull?
Drogskull, yeah.
So everybody had hexproof?
Yeah, everybody had hexproof. I mulliganed to 6. Kept kind of a greedy 6 card hand. Needing to draw into another white for Nevermore. Because I had Nevermore and a Oblivion Ring in my hand. Thinking that I could pretty much stop anything he was going to do at that point. And never drew the next land. Not making an excuse. I probably should have went ahead and went to 5 because the deck is very aggressive. The deck I'm playing is very aggressive, and without those draws, it really starts to shut down.
Here's an interesting point, too, in the first game, and I didn't analyze it very closely because I was doing some other stuff as well, but you could have bonfired for more and then attacked in. Were you playing around counter magic?
I was playing around counter magic, and
because you left up enough that he couldn't syncopate.
I left it up enough so he could. That's exactly right. I was playing around syncopate, which he absolutely did have in Game 1.
Oh, he had it?
He did have game. He didn't have it in his hand.
Right.
He may have had it in his hand, actually. I'm not sure about that, but I know he did have syncopate because he boarded it out in Game 2.
Right, because that would have, as it turns out, that would have won, I think. But also, if you get your bonfire syncopated, then you just lose anyway. So.
And another thing, one of the confusions I had to come in here and ask, I thought I was at 6 life, thinking that I could take one more swing than swing in for win. It turns out I was at 4.
Yeah, you were at 4. I didn't notice on your phone. I actually mentioned it on the stream. I didn't notice until down here that you were at 6, and then you corrected it. I guess I could be wrong, but I had you going up to 10 and then taking 6 from the attack down to 4. So I think that's right.
Which is what happened, because in my mind, thinking I'm at 6 and not 4, bonfire there, flip, let the Revenger turn it into Revenger, turn up master into Revenger, deal 2 to him, deal 1 to the creature. He swings in for not enough to kill me, then my next swing kills him. But it just didn't happen. You know?
It's very close.
Game 2 was a blowout.
We were talking about, or I was talking about, but I'm always fascinated by that Esper deck because he used to play, Brett loves tokens, and he used to play junk tokens before rotation. So he was playing like Parallel Lives, and then, junk color stuff. It was basically just Parallel Lives. Everything else was, and Elspeth Tyrell. But what's amazing about this deck is it doesn't really do anything for a long time, and then it just keeps landing Anthem effects, and then all of a sudden it swings for 20 in one turn. Like, just like one Lingering Souls and all the Anthem effects, and then it just it piles on the damage so quickly out of nowhere.
To answer Vicente 101, the answer to that question is I was playing around Syncopate.
Yeah, the question in the chat about why he didn't just burn him out with the bonfire, and that's what we were talking about. Like, he was playing around Syncopate, which is like I said, I mentioned it when we were watching it live. I thought that might have been. I mean, clearly that's what you're either playing around that or you plan on casting something during that turn. But Syncopate seemed like the more likely scenario in that situation.
And I'll have to ask him about this. I'm pretty sure he did have Syncopate in his hand. He thought about it for a long time, and then counted watching him count my land.
Yeah, he did think about it. Yeah, so maybe he thought about just shutting you down to one spell a turn that instance. So that's where that stands. So unfortunately, you dropped down. I'm still drawing pretty live for the top 8 here.
Yeah, it's kind of a win and end situation. I don't know if I'll make it if I lose. I wouldn't think I would.
With this many people, it's kind of unlikely.
Right. There's going to be a lot of 9s. Or there'll be a lot more people with more than 9, so it's pretty much a win and end for me.
Yep. So we'll see how that all sorts out, but still drawing good. You have a good deck, so should be in a pretty good spot here.
But win or lose, I'll come back and announce what the top 8.
Excellent. There are some weeks where I very much want them to play it all out, and there are some weeks where I'm very interested in chopping it. Tonight would be a chop night.
Tonight would be a chop.
That's
very, very funny.
I've already preemptively turned down the after FNM IHOP trip. So I'm already.
It's actually very funny you said it, because I told somebody earlier today, I was like, if I make top 8, I'm playing into the championship match.
You do whatever you want. I have no say in the matter. I have no stake in it. I don't want anyone to make decisions based on me. They ask me that a lot of times. Like, they're like, I'll go out there and be like, you guys chopping or you guys playing? Because if they're chopping, then I start breaking my equipment down.
Right.
Because if they're chopping, JB wants to get out of here as soon as possible because the man works here 1 million hours a week and doesn't want to be here until 1 in the morning. And they're like, well, I don't know. What do you think? I don't think anything. I have nothing to do with it. I have no stake in the matter. A few weeks ago, they did play it out. One of the weeks where we had 43 people, they played out all of the rounds all the way to the end, and the winner got a box. It's pretty cool. So basically, 110 in store credit for the win. Seems pretty good. We are kind of killing time here. I don't know how much time is left in the round, but I went out there and I was telling them the only match that was out there that was in between rounds said they didn't want to play on camera. So, and then everyone else was done. So. There were a couple matches at the far end in the bottom tables, but I didn't figure it would be worth dragging them out.
If nothing else, one of the players that I made in the game was one time, instead of using a Avacyn Pilgrim for the charm, I didn't. I left an Avacyn Pilgrim. Had I used Avacyn Pilgrim, I could have used the green mana I had left to play another Avacyn Pilgrim, which would have brought Restoration Angel live next turn. But I'm not good at this game.
Well, you also did borrow the deck, and that's one of the smaller intricacies. I think a lot of times people treat Avacyn's Pilgrim just like, it's not intuitive. You think the little green guy is going to make a green mana, but you do have to factor that in.
And the prize payout is based on attendance?
Yeah, there's a question in the chat about what the winner gets every week. The winner gets, basically the store policy is 2 packs per person into the prize pool. It's a $5 tournament here, which is one of the nice things about Lost Legion for For the super competitive crowd, it may be a detriment, but for most of the people that come here, $5 is a big difference than $10. You're going from $20 a month to play to $40 a month, but $5 puts 2 packs per player into the prize pool, and then that's divvied up. The prize payout here is pretty generous to. They pay down to low spots. I think everybody that gets 3 wins gets a pack, but then it's very top heavy once you get to the top 8. I think the top 4. There's a lot of packs in the top 4.
Right.
So it's very generous in that everybody gets something, and that helps because it encourages people to keep coming back and feeling like they're not just donating every week. But usually the winner gets somewhere between, the most ever was like 36, like I said, a box. But they usually get 25 or more packs. So, yeah.
This place is very oriented to being player friendly.
Yeah.
And it very much is.
Yep, it's good time. And of course the promo. You do get the FNM promo for that month, which this month is Gataxian Pro, which is pretty interesting. Sees a lot of play in Modern, sees a lot of play in Legacy as well, so pretty cool art for that. I think we spoiled that art on the Facebook page when it came out a few weeks ago. Also a question about how Curses are doing. There are 2 Curses players. One of them was 2-0. And then he lost to Brett, so he's either 2-2 or 3-1 now. The other one I don't believe is having a good night. Adrian, who last week started off 2-0, it looks like he is 1-2 going into last round. So not doing as hot as last week. But Curse is still a fun deck. Have you seen a Curses deck?
I have not seen it.
So basically the Curses deck, and there's a deck list for Adrian's deck on our Facebook page, the deck list for last week, all the deck lists that I have available from the event I post in the YouTube video description for the appropriate video, as well as on the Facebook page in a post. I think I made it on Tuesday or Wednesday of this week, but Adrian Mullins was playing Curses last week. He's red-black. There's also a link to Star City Games deck tech from Star City New Orleans, where they did a deck tech with the player who's playing Curses in Standard. So basically it's a red-black deck. Mm-hmm. It works around Curse of Misfortunes, which is the tutor, the one that every upkeep lets you go get a curse and put it on your opponent, as long as it doesn't match a curse they already have. So you can't double up.
Right.
So it basically plays 4 Curse of Misfortunes and then 1 each of all the viable curses. 1 Curse of Pierced Heart, which does 1 damage to target player during their upkeep. Curse of Bloodletting, which doubles the damage they take. Curse of Death Hold, which we all know, which is actually the worst curse in the deck. Right. Well, because it just doesn't, it's not on theme by any means. And then the last one, there's one more curse I can't remember.
Curse
of Thirst, which does damage to target player equal to the number of curses they have on them.
Oh, cute.
So, but what happens is basically you tutor up Curse of Thirst.
Sounds like a good deck for Zach or Max to play.
Then you tutor up Curse of Bloodletting. And if you stack Curse of Bloodlettings, it doubles each time. Mm-hmm. So last week, Brandon Hart was playing Adrian, and he took 16 damage off of 1 Curse of Thirst trigger.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Now, both games that the Curse deck lost, the player was dead on board next turn and just lost the race. So it's viable. It plays all the good black and red removal.
Sounds like a good deck for Max to play.
It is in the running.
I'm kind of disappointed in the what does his beard look like?
What was the question here? So here we're getting some interesting questions about other prize payouts for other FNMs. One viewer is saying that in Germany the biggest payout is 4, 3, and 2 packs with a $5 buy-in. Another FNM is free, and top 4 get the promo. First place gets a pack. That's interesting. I mean, it's just a different approach to it. In Sweden, usually 20 guys playing for 3 boosters. Top 3 gets 1 each, but gets to choose an order of winner on down. And then the free FNM, there's only about 8 people. Another, the one in this guy, Ultraviolence is from Pikeville, says that their store isn't even sanctioned for actual FNM. They have one, but it's not sanctioned. And that's another thing too. One thing that I figured out over the course of time is, we're really excited to get like 40 people here,
right.
But there's like the majority of stores don't get anywhere close to that.
Right.
And that was something that I always figured, like, I don't know. I kind of figured we were going to get like 18, 20 people for FNM. I kind of figured like over a little bit low.
Correct.
But like it sounds like we're pretty much doing, because there's a lot of small stores out there. I also completely underestimated the number of people. I talked to a lot of these people. In fact, I talked to one of the guys tonight. He is actually from England. Was talking about like he doesn't go to FNM because it's like an hour away, the closest store. Because we're kind of spoiled here.
Yeah,
there's 3 card shops in this county. There's 2 within driving distance here. There probably shouldn't be 2, but there is. Then there's another down in St. Albans. Then there's the shop you used to use, or you normally play at, which is down in Huntington, which is another 45 minutes away. That's almost. Those are 2 separate markets in my opinion, but they're close enough that if you want to go down there one week or something, especially for where we live, which is kind of in the middle, you can go the other, even though we work up here. Then, so you have a kind of some options. Yeah. But, could you imagine if the shop wasn't here and we had to drive to Beckley, which is like an hour and a half away?
I probably wouldn't play the game.
I wouldn't play competitive. Yeah. I might have some EDH decks in the Cube or something, but would not FNM. So we are pretty fortunate here. So.
How's the Cube drafting going?
We haven't done any. So it's been going nil. I'm trying to think the last time we cube drafted. Scotty Wright has a peasant cube, which is commons and uncommons only. And they drafted that about a month ago on a Saturday. I came, but I was the 9th person, so I volunteered to sit out. We had 9 people, so I volunteered to sit out.
It was at a Pro Tour. Adam Prozac was there. It was a Pro Tour qualifier. Adam Prozac was there, and I saw him drafting out of a mono green cube.
Mono green cube?
Yeah. Mono green and a couple artifact creatures. I wish Piper's really good in that.
Yeah, seems good. So there's some other. I apologize for the downtime, but I'm just beat to hell, and there's nobody else to play out there, so we're just going to talk about nonsense.
And once again, I would just like to reiterate, I don't win die rolls. We did rock, paper, scissors. I lost it. Then we die rolled for fun to see if I'd lose, and I lost that too.
Yeah, at least you're consistent.
It is what it is.
I'm very interested by this discussion in the chat about the various FNMs. So another FNM is $5. They don't know the prize support because I've only gone a couple times and don't do well.
Nice. Apparently, Fun Factory takes you to...
Yeah, another individual says the store they usually go to is called the Fun Factory, and if you Google that, it's not what you want to come up. Now, here's an interesting one. ZeroKilla2 in the chat says that Germany has 5 sanctioned stores in the whole country, and most are at least a 30-minute drive. I find that hard to believe. Germany's got, like 60 million people or something? I mean, it's an enormous, both physically and population-wise. I mean, I'm not saying it's wrong, but that's just very, very surprising.
It would be a very more viable source than we would.
Yeah, because another individual saying there in Sweden, in the city that he lives in, there are 3 sanctioned and 2 unsanctioned just in his town. Also comments about, I don't know if you're familiar, we talked about it on the Cube before, it's been on the Facebook page as well, but the MTGO Cube coming back around holiday time here in the next week or so. And this is the first iteration of the Cube and the first iteration of Magic Online that has the Power 9. So there will be Moxes, Black Lotus, and Ancestral Recalls in the Cube. So apparently they're giving away some Cube tickets if you log in with the beta starting now. So thanks for the tip in the chat. So check that out. If you're not familiar with what Cube is, I'll put a link. I'll put a note and mention it in the recap post. The Cube is basically a way of drafting a constructed format, basically. Somebody makes a set of cards of their choosing.
They just called Time in the Round.
They did. So we'll be starting off here shortly. Another one saying, ZeroKilla, also who's in Germany, says his FNM took him almost 2 hours to get to tonight, but of course that was due to 7 inches of snow, which you'll have You'll have that. Come in. Hey, bud.
Come in?
Sure.
Sweet.
Nick Reid making an appearance. Don't worry, Nick. This week, I did not put your name down as Nick Cooper.
Ah, thanks, bro.
Last time Nick was here and played on camera, I mistakenly put his name down as Nick Cooper because there's another Nick Cooper. There's another Nick playing. Why am I telling this story? Is there any reason for me to
Yeah, no one cares about
How are you doing tonight, Nick?
I'm 4-0 right now.
Did you and Alec play?
Yeah.
I don't think you can double draw in. So
it was questionable. Like
you could double draw and one of you could miss. That's what you've done that before though. So
yeah,
yeah.
Alex was not too happy about that, but he came out up top because he had an Evergrande Tombs, Sphinx's Revelation.
Yeah, he opened some good packs.
Yeah, and then I opened the Tristani.
Well, that's not as good.
Yeah.
Oh well, but you got those Planeswalker points, right?
Yes.
So you're 4-0, so you'll be drawing in. You want to commentate on, you're not? I'm assuming you're not playing round 5. You're not going to Dream Crush, right?
I mean, I can go for 5-0. I don't think I will though. But
there's literally no incentive to do that.
yeah. Just to see if it can.
We were talking in the chat about everyone's FNM and the normal turnout and the prize structure. What we've basically determined, at least from the small cross-section of people in our chat, is that Lost Legions is very lucrative and heavily attended. Everyone else has much smaller turnout and not necessarily as good a payout.
Yeah. Apparently, in the entire country of Germany, there are only 5 sanctioned FNM places in the entire country. And a bunch of snow.
I'm playing American Midrange.
Yeah, question in the chat about what Nick is playing. He is playing American Midrange or American Flash.
Well,
Yes,
I tell you what, Nick, why don't you have a seat? Talk about your deck a little bit.
We're going to have, I think you're going to have to go play here shortly.
Yeah, it's in time.
Brandon and Brandon. The surprise move by the blue-white Flash versus Esper Walker's list going to time. Did you trade for Ash Zealots?
I did.
If you see a 401, point them in my direction.
All right.
I do not have it.
Shiny one. Do you have sweet jams in your book?
Sweet jams.
I only trade for the sweetest of jams.
My jams aren't too sweet.
So you're playing American Midrange
Yes.
to a 4-0 undefeated finish.
Yes.
So when you say mid-range and not Flash, that usually means to me that are you playing Thundermaws?
Yes, 2.
And you're not playing Pikes.
I'm running 1 Pike.
1 Pike, it's fine.
I just had to throw something in, so.
Yeah, I mean usually that's the separation, right, between the Flash deck and the true mid-range deck is like it's all in. The Flash deck is all in on Pike.
Yeah.
Pretty hard. Are you playing Augur Bolus? I'm trying to remember from the match you played on camera, or the round you played one game on camera, I guess.
Yeah.
Trying to remember. Yeah, you were playing Thundermaw because he slaughter games you for Thundermaw.
Yeah.
And you had one in your hand too, didn't you?
Yeah, I was
the worst.
playing around counter spells.
But you didn't play around slaughter games.
No, I did not.
You played yourself. What can you do? But yeah, that's showing up a lot. You're playing it. Alex playing it. He played it last week. He top 4'd last week with it.
Yeah. Hopefully you can top 8 again, because
I mean, it's a good. I always joke. Poor Alec. He apologized last week because I was mentioning it on here because Logan was in last week, and I was mentioning about how Alec plays so fast on camera, and it's very hard to keep up with. Like when you're commentating and trying to keep track of stuff, and then Alec apologized afterwards. Like, you don't have to apologize. I'm not saying it's like a negative thing. It's just like from my side, is this what you got?
Yeah.
Let me see. I'm more curious about the board actually, because I think everything that we know in the main deck. You're playing Pillar of Flame. Are you playing Searing Spear too?
Yeah, I'm playing 3/0 of each.
3/0 of each. I love Searing Spear in this format. Are you playing? How many of all these things are you playing? How many Syncopates?
1.
Just one?
Yeah.
Are you playing any other counter magic?
Dissipate and Counterflux.
And you're playing Counterflux?
Yes.
How many of those?
Just 1. 1 in Sideboard too.
For the control matchup.
Yeah.
Is it Charms?
Just 1. I don't like it too much. I've actually only drawn 1.
Detention Sphere.
2 up.
All of the Snapcasters, 3 Geist of Saint Trapped?
4.
4.
Gotta love me some guys.
4 Angels. How many unsummons?
Just 1.
You're playing a Moorland Haunt? Are you playing more than one Moorland Haunt?
No, I'm playing a Slayer Stronghold.
Because they were that's weird. The Moorland Haunt they were talking about, Brandon was asking if you had that in a deck, and I think this deck can. I mean, the mana is a little. I mean, you don't want colorless mana lands, but I think you can afford 1. I mean, for the reach that it gives you, especially if you're playing the 1 Pike.
Yeah.
You're playing a foil Steam Vents. It's very shiny. Let's talk about this card. This is whoops. That happened. So I apologize. Hopefully the stream didn't drop because of the. So let's wait until it comes back. Sphinx's Revelation. How many of those bad boys are you playing?
I only have 2, so.
You only own 2?
Yeah.
It's 2 in that book right there.
I will trade for them.
You're playing a Rewind, and you are playing one of the aforementioned Azorius Charms, Essence Scatter, so a lot of spicy 1-0s, and look, but all the kind of cards you expect to see. But let's talk about this one. This is a card that doesn't show up a lot. Logan Cutler played this a few weeks ago as a one-of in his, he splashed for, it was a green-white aggro like he usually plays, except he was splashing for Zealous Conscripts. Which it worked out fine for him, I guess. But so Slayer Stronghold, for those of you who don't know, it's a colorless land, but you can pay red and a white, tap it, and target creature gets haste and first strike, right? No, vigilance and haste.
Yeah.
You basically play it for the haste, though, right? I mean, that's...
It's vigilance and haste. I've only used it one game against American Midrange, or American Flash, and the vigilance kind of helped me out.
Mm-hmm.
He's swinging for a lot for an augur.
Yeah, we talked about that with Brett Rose's. Did you play Brett? Have you played Brett's token deck before? No. So he's playing like a Esper tokens list, has favorable wins and intangible virtue.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that one.
And we were always talking about how, first of all, that deck comes out of nowhere because he does nothing for a long time, just lands these enchantments, and then eventually just casts both half of Lingering Souls and does 20 in one turn. But the thing that's good about his deck is the thing about intangible virtue is not the fact that it's a anthem, it's the fact that it gives vigilance.
Yeah.
So you can swing in through the air with your guys who are usually unblockable, and then still have chump for the back. Yeah. So you're playing. Let's go for the sideboard. This guy is really tearing up standard now. They broke this at Grand Prix Charleston or Grand Prix San Antonio, and then it just started showing up everywhere.
Yeah.
Is it Staticaster?
Four-color peddler.
Yeah, it does a lot of work against. I mean, if you pair it with, the big thing is if you pair it with Nightshade Peddler, it gets Death Touch, and then it's the old Basilisk Collar, Cunning Spark Mage trick, where you just murder everything. And the fact that it does it to everything with the same name is pretty good. It also, even if you control them too.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's weird. But that card's obviously good. It's good against tokens. It's good against the Mana Dork decks. It's actually good against the Zombies deck too, because a lot of their stuff is one toughness. Aristocrats one toughness too. 2 Feeling of Dread. I love this card. Is this another card against the beatdown decks? Yeah. It buys you a lot of time. You're playing 2 Rest in Peace. What decks do you bring these against in? Rights obviously, but do you bring it in against anything else?
No.
Because it has incidental value. We may have talked about this before. It has incidental value against Snapcaster decks and stuff like that, but I don't think that's the way you want to fight it.
Yeah, because I have Snapcaster, so...
Yes. 2 negates.
Control matchups.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you do have Snapcaster. I forgot that it's symmetric.
Yeah.
2 Supreme Verdicts in the board. Seems pretty self-explanatory as well. Then you're playing these. These are all your anti-control. Would you bring the Elixir in against control? It's an aggro card.
No, I someone were talking about mill, so I decided to put that in instead of another counterflow.
That's fine. And now you're playing these basically your anti-control package. You're playing 1 Tameo, 1 Counterflux, another one from the one you have in your main deck, and then a Drog Skull Reaver, which we saw you. You beat Jordan, right? Yeah. Because with the Drog Skull Reaver, that was a card that we really I personally expected to really take off after the Titans rotated.
Yeah.
And it hasn't necessarily, but I love it against control because all you have to do is play it, and then if they can't answer it, then they just lose because the card advantage you get so much, and you're a burn deck, so you're drawing, burn spells as well.
There's nothing to get rid of it right now. Mm-hmm. Unless you have a direct answer for it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's Ultimate Price doesn't get it. I guess Dreadboard gets it, but everything else pretty tough. None of the burn spells get it.
Distinction Sphere, but...
Getting trolled. Someone's saying Slayer Stronghold was played in American Midrange first place finish at an SCG a while back.
Yep. That's where I got the idea from.
The internet is much better at the making Magic decks than we are.
Yeah.
But go out there and crush them, or at least figure out what's going on. Yeah. Have they still? Are we still in turns?
No. It's. Oh wait, yeah. Are we still in turns?
No, it's over now.
Okay.
It's over. If we draw, I'll come back.
Okay, it's up to you. It's no big deal. So. Nick's going to step out there and sort out some business. He will be drawing into the top 8 as he is one of the 2 undefeated players. So congratulations to him. Knocking off another American Midrange deck in the 4th round. We are eagerly awaiting the 5th and final round. We're going to find a play and win and in match for you. Trying to get some more information here out of the chat just to keep things interesting. I apologize. Tonight's been very weird. I got here very early tonight and had everything set up and good to go, and then the internet started acting up really bad, and I only got that fixed just before The event started. Then Star City is streaming, so we don't have a lot of viewers. Then my computer crashed, at which point we lost a lot of people and had to restart everything. And then people are. There have been 3 separate times where people have said they do not want to play on camera. So tonight has been a comedy of errors. It's not getting any better. And I'm still exhausted. This Orange Crush isn't kicking in, Brandon. I need to get the heavy stuff.
You need to drink it faster.
Need to get the heavy stuff. So, 4-1. Did they just wrap up turns out there?
Yeah.
Good grief.
And that they were on game 2.
You shouldn't be allowed to play slow decks. That's why I said if everyone plays mono red, FNM's over in like 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's great.
Okay, Magic Player, round 5.
And here comes round 5.
And pairings are up.
All right, so round 5 pairings are up. Thanks, JB. So let's take a quick look. You are playing. Who are you playing?
3, Josh Dell.
Joseph Deal?
Joseph Dell, thank you.
Okay.
Round 6, so I'm going to have to play.
Uh,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, you guys have to play.
Yep, definitely. All right, well, let's see what we
Well,
do.
best of luck to
Well,
you.
thank you.
We'll see who emerges out of this.
What table am I at?
Oh man, you're at table 3. All right, I'm gonna take a break. I think it's a Wright brother feature match, but I'm gonna go out there and check. So I'm gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna switch the camera back over. It's gonna crash. It'll come right back, so just be patient. If it doesn't come back in like 10 seconds, just refresh. It'll fire it up. I'll try my best to figure that out next week.